Madam Chair, and to our former colleague, congratulations on your appointment and confirmation. I do want to echo the comments of the ranking member and my colleagues about the rental assistance, emergency rental assistance program. Perhaps it is right that you're here all by yourself in your first appearance, but it's also right that Secretary Yellen should be here to testify not just about the mismanagement of this program, but also her statutorily mandated quarterly CARES oversight hearing. I don't know why she hasn't yet appeared. But let's talk about the $46 billion appropriated by Congress and only 4% of it that's actually reached renters. With vaccines distributed and available and many lockdowns ended, taxpayers, I think, are asking the question, either this is too late because people now are working again, or it's not in time because the moratorium on evictions is about ready to expire. So I just think that this is the poster child for why hard-working taxpayers are so critical of big government bureaucratic programs like this. And so I just want to ask you, Madam Secretary, given the fact that you do have an obligation under Section 501G of the law to make a report regarding the use of these ERA funds, you know, what would you say to the taxpayer out there who's frustrated that only 4% of the $46 billion has actually been deployed? You know, and many of these folks are now back at work.
What I would say to the taxpayer is that both Treasury and HUD have done exactly what we were directed to do by this Congress. We have issued the resources. We are providing the assistance. And I would further say that we are required to make reports. There is a quarterly report coming. We don't give daily reports, but there is a quarterly report coming, and I think that it will be more reflective of where we stand.
Can you see why taxpayers would be frustrated that 96% of the funds that Congress appropriated back at the height of the pandemic have still not reached renters? Can you understand why taxpayers would be skeptical of future spending blowouts like this going forward?
I can understand why taxpayers would be concerned if they are at risk of being evicted. There's no question about that. I agree with you.
Well, yeah, so it's to my point, it's for many of these renters, it's either too late, the money's too late getting to them, or if it's not too late, then time is of the essence to deal with the arrears. I know you're working on it. I appreciate that. Just understand, taxpayers are always going to be skeptical about big government programs precisely because of the mismanagement we've seen here. Housing first. I was encouraged by your exchange with Chair Waters earlier when you discussed the need for services in addition to just a roof over a head of a person struggling with housing insecurity. I remain concerned that many transitional housing facilities in my district and around the country, Madam Secretary, are barred from receiving federal homelessness assistance grant funding because they mandate wraparound services such as addiction treatment or job training as a condition for continued residence. In many instances, these requirements are beneficial for specific communities. Facilities like the Franklin County Women and Family Shelter in my district in central Kentucky are left behind because their business model, which is demonstrably effective in our community in getting homeless women into permanent housing and addiction-free lifestyles, doesn't comply with a one-size-fits-all qualification for funding availability. And so, for the sake of clarity, I'm not proposing to end housing first, but I am proposing that we end the government's exclusive reliance on housing first. HUD's current policies create a situation that I just described where providers who have an excellent record of successfully transitioning people out of homelessness are excluded from government assistance. Secretary Fudge, are you willing to work with Congress to explore innovative options to expand the universe of successful transitional housing programs that receive federal support?
I'm certainly willing to, and I'd really love to talk to whoever you think we're being unfair to.
I'd love to have you. The previous secretary came to my district. There's a lot of faith-based organizations in my district around the country that are not housing Housing First, but have an excellent track record, and they're being systematically denied federal assistance and discriminated against because they don't have this one-size-fits-all model of Housing First, but they deliver results, and they don't get your help. And so I do want to invite you to the 6th District of Kentucky and other districts around the country in both blue and red districts where we have non-Housing First models that deliver for the homeless population of this country.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Thank you. I yield back.